Hi, I'm Chad Teely from the AI Content Dojo. Welcome to the Getting Started Guide for Shortly AI. Let me start by saying that Shortly AI is a blank canvas AI writing assistant that has unlimited text generation. This means that you can use it for pretty much any kind of writing that you need, and the magic really is in its simplicity. You get to ask for and usually get what you want, and you can ask as often as you like. There's no credit limits like you find with other tools. What we're going to cover in this quick guide is what is GPT-3 real quick, and the OpenAI team. We're going to talk about the AI writing dance, understanding context, and then using the commands to make the most of your writing experience, and wrap it all up with editing and making sure that you check for plagiarism and such. So what is GPT-3 AI? Well, to put it succinctly, it's what powers Shortly. It's what powers almost all the AI writing tools out there right now, at least the good ones. It's a unidirectional predictive text algorithm with an enormous brain that's trained from content from all over the internet and in lots and lots of books. Basically, this means that it can use that memory and the algorithm to kind of predict the next words and sentences that you would have typed when you hit that Write For Me button inside of Shortly. Who is OpenAI? So from time to time, you might hear the word or the name OpenAI. That's the team that is behind GPT-3. The most important thing to understand is that this team does set all the rules that tools like Shortly has to use when they're making the most of the GPT-3 algorithm. In essence, you might find from time to time that things change a little bit, and that might be because the OpenAI team wanted the tools to change how they're using it. But for the most part, most of the good quality tools like Shortly already abide by their rules very thoroughly, and it's safe to use. So the AI writing dance, I like to refer to it as a dance, but it's kind of the best way to work with these AI tools to produce the quality content that you want quickly. Essentially, it just means that you write some, don't finish your thought, don't finish the sentence, and then you let the AI write some to kind of finish your thought or to finish off your sentence. Every once in a while, it'll even add some extra content that you maybe didn't expect. Doesn't always produce precisely what you want, but sometimes it can surprise you with something that you didn't think about, but is still very useful for your article. So that dance is a way for you and your AI partner to create something beautiful. And while you're doing this dance, you should be sprinkling in some special commands and making the most of the writing experience. Understanding context is extremely important in Shortly. Context is what Shortly will use to get the content that you want from the AI. So in the Shortly UI, you have an article brief, a title, and then all the content that you're writing in your document. When you hit that Write For Me button, everything that's in the article brief, the title, and the content that's above where your cursor is will be sent over to the AI to be used to get back the content that you're looking for. Every once in a while, you're going to want to control for that, and that's where the / command comes in. That's what I'm highlighting right here in the video. If you put a / into the content of your article, that point becomes cut off. So if you're writing content that is maybe slightly a different topic than what the rest of your article is about, you can use / to kind of cut off that context so that when you're writing, it is not affecting the AI for the part that you're trying to write right now. I do go more in depth on that in the link here. If you want to continue that learning, go there for that. The commands, the / commands as they're often referred to, are some tools to help you get the most from the AI. The commands that are available are shorten, rewrite, expand, and instruct. If you're inside of Shortly, there's a cheat sheet in the lower right-hand corner. If you're on a desktop, if you're on mobile, it's at the top in the right. You can click on that to get a list of the commands and their limits and how they're used. Shorten is intended to kind of rewrite a passage of text that's going to make it a more concise version of that passage. Rewrite is going to attempt to rewrite it to be unique. Expand is kind of the cool one here. It's going to take basically a smaller piece of text and try to develop it into a larger passage of text. Something that can maybe add more content to it to also maybe better describe something. So these 3 commands I often refer to as the refine commands. They're tools that you're going to use on existing text that's already in your document. And they have special context. When you're using shorten, rewrite, or expand, only the text within the square bracket part of the command, and I'm right here right now in the video, is used to get something from the AI. The article brief and the title are not used. None of the other parts of your article are used either, just what's in the square brackets. Instruct is a special command, though. I refer to it as the universal command. It's a command where you act as if you're turning to your AI writing assistant and you're asking them for some specific type of content or something. For example, you might ask by putting /instruct, write an answer target for how do honeybees find their way home, or maybe instruct, write a poem for cherry blossoms blooming in Tokyo. The sky is really the limit with the instruct command. Experiment. Find ways that you think are interesting in using it and get the most from that tool. Now, even the context is unique for instruct. It does not use the article brief and title, just like the other commands, but it does use everything else inside of the article and also the square brackets in your text. Just like the other commands, of course, the stuff that's in the square brackets is used, and all the content in your document above that command get used. So it has some additional capabilities. And yes, the / works here too. If you need to cut off some of the context from the article itself from interfering with the command, you can do that. Now, normally to use these commands, you're going to type / the command name, square bracket, and you're going to surround the text that you want to use it on with square brackets. That can be a little bit time consuming. Luckily, there are keyboard shortcuts that are available to help you work faster. The keyboard shortcuts kind of make it so that when you become accustomed to them, you're just really going to smoothly flow through your articles and your content creation. Just really improves your productivity quite a lot. The shortcuts are Command left bracket, Command P, Command right bracket, Command Enter, Command semicolon, / and Z. Basically, if you want to shorten something, highlight the text that you want to shorten, and then hit Command left bracket. That will automatically wrap that text that you highlighted with the shorten command and trigger the shorten command so that it performs the action for you. Same with the others. Now, Command Enter is special. Command Enter, if you don't highlight anything, is going to trigger the Write For Me button so that AI will take over and start writing something for you. But if you have something highlighted, the Command Enter is going to run the instruct command on that piece of text that you have highlighted. If you ever get to the point where the AI has produced something that you didn't feel fit what you need, you can hit Command / to rerun the command so that or rerun the AI so that it'll go back out and try and get something different for you. And of course, undo means undo, but the command semicolon undo will also remove the commands, the / commands. If you want to just go back one step, Control Z is Command Z is how you do that. So that's how you use Shortly. It's how you get the most from it. When you're writing your articles, the one thing that you want to keep in mind is that you do need to edit and you do need to check for plagiarism, because just like you would check a junior writer on your team or something like that, there's some things you need to look out for, and that would be statements of fact and plagiarism. Now, often AI is going to reference a fact like a name or a building or a place or some kind of statistics, numbers, things like that are supposed to be truth and fact. You might want to double check those because sometimes the AI might confuse two different topics, like the statistics from one with the statistics from another, and that might cause a little bit of misinformation, I guess, in a sense. So just make sure that the facts are correct from anything that the AI gives you. And also, the AI has been trained on loads of content from the internet, right? So there's a chance, most of the time the GPT-3 AI does a good job of producing unique content, but there could be times where it pulls a passage or a little bit too much of a passage from another author's content. So to avoid any issues, you should check or send your document through one of the plagiarism tools like Grammarly or Copyscape. And that's a wrap. You now have all the essential parts of Shortly. And if you really want to dive in more, I have more guides available where I discover and explore more parts of Shortly, especially as new things are released. I really highly recommend Shortly over all the other tools because of the blank canvas experience and the no credit limits. You're free to explore and experiment with the AI as much as you want. And I highly recommend that you do that. Don't be shy, don't be bashful. Ask the AI for lots of different things and get your own feel for making the most out of it. And if you'd like me to notify you when I have new guides and stuff available, just drop your email in this form right here. And that's it. That's it for this guide. Welcome to Shortly, and take care.